Go. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Stay Connected, people. Today, people, I'm reacting to this clip, people. Rachel Wilson, people. Humbled brand Shapiro, people. After a sick comment. And people, man, let me know what you think about this clip right here. Do you like this clip? Do you not? If there's any other debates with these two and Andrew Wilson, if there's anything after like debates and stuff like that, let me know, people, in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video. So this guy actually use your channel, people, and get me more into other debates and stuff like that and stuff. People, let's get into this one right about now. Let's go, people. Let's go, people. Let me know who you think won this debate.
I keep hearing the economy argument. How long has birth rate been in decline? That's Rachel's argument coming up.
So listen very carefully and try to understand.
I'm listening.
The poor people are the ones having the babies. So the people who have the resources are opting out because they think their job is more important, because they want to take vacations, because they want to pay for a second vehicle.
Family planning and priorities, correct. That's what I call aggressive stupidity.
People that aren't poor are polled, and they're saying that the reason why they're not having kids is because of the economy.
It's because
they
are prioritizing a higher material standard of living, yes.
So what has changed then in
materialism.
the last... So
atheism and materialism.
Okay, so you think it's atheism?
It's atheism.
You think it's because they don't believe in God, and that's the reason why they're
prioritizing having stuff.
Right.
And having a career over having.
So what about that? What do you think? Do you think taking away health care and
I think what we should do about that, I'll tell you what we should do about it is what I'm.
All right, let's go forward in the exchanges here a little bit.
Because of what is in the big and beautiful bill. Millions of people have lost their...
Just always taking it back to Trump.
...their food stamps. And while people that are sitting over there think it's funny that people in this country are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, many of those people can't afford to have a child. And if they have multiple children, they have to work 2 jobs. They have to work 3 jobs. Now, what...
Then you would expect that the rich would be having lots of children, right? Isn't that what you would expect to see then? Oh, but that's not happening. Okay, got it.
What happens if a woman hasn't met the right man and she's in her 30s? What does she do there? What happens if a woman is a single woman trying to raise children? What is she supposed to do to raise those children? You know, the people who you support are against unemployment benefits, they're against maternity leave, and they're basically
nothing to do with feminism at all.
Against every government program that would help that mother raise that child. These are the people that you support. So first of all, to use that word and to call, no, it's not cool for her to use that word, to say that just because we don't believe in what you believe.
Now look.
I think regardless, you don't have to believe what that person believes, but you can also make arguments and question, why do you believe this? Why do you believe that? There's always going to be like I don't agree with you. I agree with you. Why do you think that way? How dare you say it that way? Someone's always going to be offended of how you say things because they don't like the way you say things. It's just what it is. You know, as human beings, like, we're just sometimes not agreeable on certain things. Certain people might have a standard for this, have a standard for that. You know, certain people just have the 2 different standards, people. And some people just don't have standards at all. Like, you know, I like this, you don't like what I like, I don't like what you like. You know what I mean? Sometimes I might even just agree with one thing, but disagree with another thing. It's just how it is. It's just how it is.
This is, the whole audience is laughing at him here. You can only hear the front row because it's the closest to the mics, but and everybody was laughing at him. The second he started freaking out about this, everyone in there knew that this guy was a caricature of himself. He is the cartoon. He asked you for a cigarette. Oh, yeah, I remember.
That people are... Because,
Bro, that's...
Okay, good. So let me be very clear, okay? Everybody has the right to believe in what they believe in. Everybody has the right. You can be a Christian, you can be an atheist.
Everyone has a right to believe in the things that they believe in, except you, Rachel. You don't have a right. How dare you? You're the cartoon. You've always been the cartoon.
To call people because they don't believe in the religion that you believe in, or they don't believe in God, is so beyond absurd and bigoted and ridiculous.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I think you are.
No, you're
not me.
You're you.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, why does he sound like one of those people who you used to go to high school with or school with, innit? And he goes, "Oh, I'm not your friend. Like, I don't like you anymore." Like, why does people talk like this? It's like, are you not like a grown adult that you can have disagreements and agreements? Like, why'd you have to go to the unnecessary, like, "Oh, I don't like you. You don't like me. Oh, I hate what you wear. I hate what you wear too." Like, it's just so, like, childish. Like, grow up. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it feels like that's what I'm hearing right now.
The classic, I know you are, but what am I?
What am I? Yeah. So stupid.
So what I was going to say,
Do you have an argument?
what I was going to say, just be quiet. Make.
Yeah. Just, you know what? Just shut up.
Wow, that's not how you speak to a woman. Damn. Wasn't he saying when he had that little incident with Andrew Wilson and says, "I respect women," and look at how he's talking to a woman. This is hypocritical, people, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is bad.
Up, okay?
Make Andrew a sandwich and be quiet. So
Wait a sec.
Wow, this is bad.
Why does Brian think he needs to tell Rachel that?
That's crazy.
It's implied that there's going to be sandwich making in her future.
That's pretty misogynistic.
20 million. Andrew, do you have a cigarette? Because I need one right now. So listen.
I know it's got to be embarrassing getting your butt whipped by a housewife.
Yeah, you're kicking my butt, Rachel.
Yes, she was.
calling everybody because they don't think like you is a wonderful argument to make. So 20 million people in this country have lost their health care.
It's like, what is it? Has nothing to do with anything. Just nothing to do with anything.
Because of what is in the big and beautiful bill. Millions of people.
Rachel's just like, are you serious? Are we going back to Trump derangement? Really?
Have lost their food stamps. And while people that are sitting over there think it's funny that people in this country are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, many of those people can't afford that.
Did he not just say this? This is like the second time he said this now. What is your argument? Please make the argument nice and precise. Why does he have to repeat himself too much?
A child. And if they have multiple children, they have to work 2 jobs. They have to work 3 jobs. Now, what happens if a woman hasn't met the right man and she's in her 30s? What does she do there? What happens if a woman is a single woman trying to raise children? What is she supposed to do to raise those children? You know, the people who you support are against unemployment benefits, they're against maternity leave, and they're basically against every government...
Just all Trump derangement.
Family wage, you have an individual wage. And on top of that, we changed from being more of a productive economy to what my friend Aaron Clary calls a she economy. And this is more of a service-based, consumer-based, debt-based economy.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I never heard that word before.
Where everybody is buying more than they can afford, they are financing everything, they are living well above their means, and it takes 2 incomes to keep this up. And this happened because we gave women a ton of free college. It wasn't really free, they had to pay it back. Women are now the majority debt holders They have the most degrees, but they also go into life with an average of $50,000 in debt.
Are you against student debt forgiveness?
I'm not done yet.
Oh.
So yes, when you have a young woman who spends all of her formative years going to school, she doesn't graduate college till she's at least 22, maybe later. She's got $50,000 in debt starting out, and she has to start a career.
So the bottom line here is she wants to take away the rights.
He wants to take away your...
The lead up to this was actually interesting because Brian Shapiro's argument was, you don't want people to have rights, but I bet you want everyone to have a, don't you?
She chose to do things in her life, and I would never want to take that away from you, Rachel, but you want to take that away from other people. And then you'll say, that's a straw man argument. You've said in this debate thus far, what are we halfway through, that she doesn't believe that the majority of women should vote. She thinks it should be on the level of taxes.
I don't think the majority of men should vote either.
Okay. Well, that's a great argument, Rachel. That's a great argument.
It is a great argument.
Yeah. So you don't believe women should vote, and you don't believe a certain percentage of men should vote. But everybody should be allowed to have a gun, right? If you're not a
But everyone should be allowed to have a, right?
felon.
Yes,
If you're not a felon, and Rachel says yes.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
You know why?
That makes a lot of
I
sense.
think the founders were correct about
The
suffrage.
founders had it's Rachel. We have AR-15s
What does
now.
that have to do with suffrage?
Has a lot to do with
By
gun
the
control.
way, this is a guy
So-
who's never shot a because if he thinks
Okay.
I'm a instructor, by the way.
So
if he
think
thinks
about that for a
muskets
moment.
are less
I want you
dangerous
guys
than
to
some of the
think,
we have
hold on,
now,
Rachel,
he
calm
would be
down.
wrong.
Don't spurg out.
It's funny that Rachel brings this up. So I remember early on in our relationship, I was discussing this with her. Liberals always complaining about, your founders only wanted you to have a... And I was like, do you actually have, honey, any idea how much damage these 60 to 70 caliber do? She was like, actually, I don't really. So I took her to a range and let her fire. She was like, holy, see the hole in the target? And I was like, yeah. And then when you put this fucking ginormous knife on the end of it, you end up with a spear. Like, these things ain't no joke. I don't know where these people, these dumb get this idea that we're not deadly. That's a brutal weapon. Brutal. Especially rifled. Precision accurate. Precision accuracy out of those things.
I don't want to take your right away to vote either. Listen, I get frustrated sometimes, and I say, man, I wish stupid people weren't allowed to vote. Man, I wish those people weren't allowed to vote. But would I want to put a law in place to take that right away from you? Of course not. Maybe I could agree with some sort of basic... I know I had a conversation with Vivek Ramaswamy about this, and I sort of agree with him, that if you...
Oh, no. Poor Brian. Poor Brian is about to deliver his own coup de grace. Brian's about to concede the entire debate. He's about to say, you know, I kind of agree with you, Rachel, that we should limit suffrage. He said he wants to take voting away from people who don't contribute. Then he said these people pay taxes. He's an idiot.
Had some sort of basic civics test or something, I can't say I would be against that. Maybe we agree on that.
Great.
But the fundamental, if you're not making...
You have a right to vote. I don't want to take that away from you. You just have to pass a civics test and do a bunch of these other things.
enough money, or you're unemployed, or you're poor, that should be a factor in whether you should vote or not. I completely, fundamentally disagree with that.
Okay, so you think that people who take from the Treasury and raid the Treasury, take the tax money of those who are producing, should be allowed to vote in huge numbers to take more
When you
from
say
those
take,
people?
please be specific.
This is an argument that Rachel, and I guess on this one, I take full credit because that was an argument that she often hears me make, that it seems very unwise if you have a huge block of people who are getting more out of the system than they're putting into the system to be able to vote themselves more resources from the people who are putting into the system. Seems like a terrible idea.
Talking about welfare, food
Yes,
stamps?
I'm talking about anyone who takes,
Yeah.
I'm not saying poor people.
Yeah.
I was poor most of my life. But
So most of your life you shouldn't have been allowed to vote?
I wasn't taking more from the system than I was getting. So if you're on SNAP benefits, you're
Right.
on TANF,
Right.
you're getting Medicaid, you're taking tens to maybe hundreds of thousands from the government in subsidies and welfare, then no, you don't get to vote to continually steal from other people.
What about people that steal billions of dollars? Should they be allowed to vote?
What? The king of the non sequitur. What? No, I suppose not.
Yeah, I was just about to say that as well. No. Hell no.
Yeah, no. People who steal millions of dollars probably shouldn't be able to vote. Okay. What's
But
the
they do it. But they do it anyway.
What was the point of that argument exactly? Does Brian spray some kind of defensive toxin from his neck veins when he loses? I don't. Brian, I'm always surprised that he can form words because he doesn't have a jaw.
They should go to prison if you can
What
prove
if they get
that.
a full pardon?
Exactly.
Should they be allowed to vote?
Well, if you get a pardon, that's the
Yeah.
legal system. What do you
Gotcha.
want
Okay.
me to do about
So
it?
if
It's going to be
you're-
more Trump
so hold on.
derangement syndrome.
So if you're somebody that is
Yeah, and it was more Trump derangement. So Rachel, of course, right again. If you steal millions of dollars, should you be able to vote? Well,
Yeah, he's definitely in this. He's talking about Trump, innit? Definitely another Trump shot right there, innit? Like basically like another like diss, innit? To say about Trump, innit? In government right now, taking a lot of money. That's what he's basically trying to say again.
you should go to jail, and if you're in jail, you can't vote. What if you get pardoned? Well, then, yeah, you should probably be able to vote because you were pardoned, right? It's like, what are you talking about?
stolen billions of dollars and you get a pardon, you should be allowed to vote. But if you're somebody that is struggling, maybe living paycheck to paycheck, maybe doesn't have a job, maybe doesn't have the opportunities that some other people have,
You have a good night too, bro.
you shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Correct.
I'm sorry, that is absurd.
Let's ask another question here. So I'll make a deal with you. I'll say all the women can vote.
No, I will not have a beer with your husband.
Nobody wants to have a beer with
Okay,
you, dude.
good.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
Thank you. Good.
all the
That's a
women,
relief.
all the women can vote if they have to sign up for the draft when they turn 18, like
Let's
the men.
talk about the draft.
Oh, man. And here, once again, what's the most ironic part about this is that I already beat the holy tar out of Brian on this topic on his own radio show, and he didn't bother to change his argument at all. Not even a little bit.
I'm
Yeah,
happy to
let's.
do that with you.
Okay.
So here's my opinion on the draft, right? And here's my opinion on women, and I'm glad you brought that up. I believe that there should be a basic physical standard that both men and women need to pass. And because I think we all could agree in this room, on average, right, a man is physically stronger than a woman, on average. That doesn't mean that there aren't women out there that are pretty strong. So my opinion.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are you saying that on average, men are stronger than women? No kidding. But that doesn't mean there's not some women who are stronger than a lot of men. Well, holy, my God. I don't know how she's going to deal with the type of brains, the sophisticated arguments that Brian is currently laying down. How? You can see the smug smile. Look at this smug smile on Rachel's face. What a smug little brat. Should have walked up on that stage and just wiped that smile right off her face. Look how smug she is. It's almost like she knows that this is about to completely embarrass himself.
Is pretty simple on this. If you can pass that basic physical standard that a man and a woman would have to pass, and they're willing to risk their life for this country.
You're talking about
Well, there goes most of your women in the military, Brian, and in law enforcement, because they have different standards. They have different standards for physical fitness that they have to pass. And if you were to apply the standard of the United States Marine Corps pull-ups to women, you would have like 5 female Marines today. In the U.S. Army, same thing. If you applied the same physical fitness standards to women that the men have to pass, you wouldn't have hardly any women in the military at all. Same thing in the police. They have different standards, fitness standards for what they have to do or not do.
voluntary service. No one is barring women from the military, dude. We're
What's your
talking
opinion
about
on
the
that?
draft.
Should women be able to go to war? Should women be able to be there?
I asked you a question about the draft. Let's stick to my question
you don't
rather
wanna
than
answer mine?
switching.
Okay.
I think that if women want the same rights as men, they should have to. If we want equality, let's have equality. I'll believe women want equality when they demand to sign up for the selective service, when they demand to be part of the industries where 92% of the workplace deaths are compromised by men, when they're doing 90% of the essential infrastructure work. That's equality.
Yeah, I get her point on that part, because that's where every question and everything lies on. Equality, you know what I mean? You want to be the same. You want to be treated the same as each other, you know what I mean? Definitely, if they want to, well, in America, innit? Especially here. Obviously, we don't have the draft over here, but I get her point. Like, if you want that to happen, you want to be equal and all these other things like that. Yeah, you're gonna have to do this that same things as a man will have to do to get into the military and stuff like that, police academies, and to join the forces or just fight for their country in general. Do you know what I'm saying? So make a good point there, man. If you want this equality that people are saying that we don't have, I think definitely they should definitely go through a how do you say that word? Criteria. Like, you know what I'm trying to say, people. Like, where you have to like go through it, and if you don't meet that standard, you cannot enter for the military or anything that you work for the country itself. You know what I mean? Definitely a good point there.
Equality is not a system where men do everything dirty, dangerous, and difficult. They die for the country. They die on the job. They die to defend the borders.
How many women have died
and
from childbirth since the early 70s?
Oh, I'm glad that you asked. Not.
Oops. Brian. Gee. I'm sure that after hearing you make that argument before, Rachel wasn't going to look up the stats or anything.
Nearly as many as men.
How many?
Not nearly as many as men die in the workplace, Brian. Brian can't debate because he can't listen. You see him disassociate after his got you moments, and he starts thinking about the next line. He doesn't even understand what's being said. He's not actually smart enough to even understand what's being said to.
No, literally, he's just going off his own. What I need to say. Oh, I'm just gonna say it just to say it. You definitely know, like, when someone's listening to a conversation, they can repeat back and repeat back what they're saying, innit? The other person's saying, to understand. Because for you to understand something, you have to at least be silent for a bit until that person has spoken and finished their sentence and stuff like that. Then you got to be like, you know what? Now I'm going to say this because I understand the conversation a bit more. Now I'm going to respond once I was listening with my ears. Know what I mean?
To him.
Let me see if I have it in my notes. It's a very small number.
That's how he is.
You think over 30,000 people is a very small number?
That's not what I had
That's
here.
what I have. Since the early 70s, over 30,000.
Oh, since the early 70s. Okay. How many men have died in workplace jobs since the early 70s?
I don't have those stats in front of me. I imagine a lot of men have died in workplace jobs.
More than have died in childbirth, by far.
I don't deny that.
If you combine.
By far. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Former Senior Airman Andrew Thrasher here. I have a prediction that Bryce Shap has to get a normal day job by the end of the year because the total ignorance he keeps displaying every time. What a piece of... You're wrong, Senior Airman Andrew Thrasher. I will explain to you what happens to people like this when they take these sorts of debate L's everywhere that they go. Because it happened to Vosh. I think I delivered Vosh his final debate L before he stopped.
Wait, who's Vloss? I don't know who that is.
Debating altogether. Now he just doesn't ever do public debates. What they do is they just retreat to the safety box, and they just reiterate out to the same people over and over and over and over again. They don't ever give up and go away, bro. But they do disappear from the public eye for the most part because they don't dare show their face in public where they get eviscerated. Then that's what actually happens. I was listening to the Backstreet Boys yesterday, and Brian's theme song came on, Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely.
Wars. So we're talking about
That's
voluntary versus involuntary. Nobody
Right.
is
I
forcing
understand
women.
that.
Nobody's forcing women to have children. We are forcing men
You don't?
to sign up for the draft, and we are forcing men to do everything that makes these lights, this live stream, these microphones possible.
So-
women do not build and maintain society. That's men.
So because women aren't forced to have kids, you don't think that's a sacrifice when they do have kids?
That's
when they
a-
make that decision?
The problem is, and of course Brian didn't think about this argument either, the problem here...
When a man signs up for voluntary military service, yes, he is choosing to sacrifice. We commend
Three women
him.
just came home in caskets.
So the idea here is, yes, sure, we can call that a sacrifice, and even potentially a patriotic sacrifice for women to have children. But men also do similar patriotic sacrifices all the time. And they're not commended, one. But two, leaving that aside,
I'm not.
they're not. There's no compellence, right? Women are not compelled to get pregnant. They're not compelled to have children by the state. They're not compelled to do so.
Yeah, we're never applauding.
I'm not saying poor people should vote. I was poor most of my life, Brian. So you shouldn't have voted most of your life? Zero comprehension. Yeah, he has no comprehension.
It's from Iran. You're aware of that,
Anyone
right?
who volunteers for either childbirth or military service and dies is doing a great selfless thing. That's not what we're talking about, buddy. You
I
got to
understand
try
that.
to stick with the
I
argument.
understand that. I'm
We're
sticking
talking
with the
about
argument.
what men are compelled to do and what are women compelled to do on behalf of society that might kill them.
You know,
The question which no leftist can answer and no feminist can answer. Nothing. Not compelled to do anything. I'm a woman who gave birth to 3 children, and I'm sick of the childbirth argument. Has anyone seen a man pass a kidney stone? So dumb. Yeah, it's equally painful.
I don't think women are forced per se to do anything, but what you are making the argument with
But men are.
us today is you're making the argument that women should be at home and be stay-at-home mothers, and they shouldn't be out there in the workforce.
Did I say that?
Oh,
No, she never did. Side note, Ghetto of the Sky, Spirit Airlines. I'm just going to go to their closing statements here, guys. Because I want to do something else. I don't want to look at Brian anymore. Brian's really gotten all of the time of the Wilsons that he ever deserves to get. He just literally doesn't deserve any more time from us or the Crucible or anything. Like, we have raked this guy's face over the coals
The cruise.
and annihilated him. Between me and Ray, I mean, we have fucking annihilated this
Husband.
guy. Like, what more needs to be done anymore?
Emotions who can be
plenty of mistakes in my life, and I've probably said things in my life that I regret, but I own it. And so thank you all for being here. 5 seconds. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, James. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I appreciate it. And I wouldn't have it any
There's
other way.
3
I love having big
certainties in
debates,
life: death, taxes, and Brian Shapiro
and
sucking.
I appreciate all you
True.
guys being here. Thank you very much.
We could go over to Rachel for her 3 minute.
I just have to say, Rachel did amazing, as she always does, but she caused him to BIOS loop factory reset in front of thousands. Brian also, I think, so he was trending on X for all the wrong reasons. He put out a tweet the next day, basically, once again, just personally attacking Rachel. He still didn't have any arguments. And people were mocking him, overwhelmingly mocking him. Because he listened, unfortunately, like many of these people do, to the League of Evil. And he has to understand that my enemies are actually quite stupid. And if any of them knew how to read the market, they wouldn't all be failed loser streamers, right? They wouldn't all be failed streamers. All of them are failed. They've all failed in this arena, every one of them. But they know how to, but they're going to tell you different. Oh no, this will get them, you'll see. Like, you fail. All you do is fail. In actuality, we are facing a birth rate crisis. Would it be morally wrong to compel women to have kids in the same way men are compelled to fight during wartime? Yeah, I think those are... I mean, I think from the autonomy perspective, you can make that argument, but that's not an argument I would make. It'd be great if you debated Hassan Piker. He's not going to debate with me ever. I've seen that guy on Tim Pool. It was months ago. It hasn't changed. Yes, he is.
Closing as well. The floor is yours, Rachel.
That's who I was saying.
Very disappointing. We had no arguments from Brian whatsoever for why we should believe that feminism has been beneficial for women and children. He wasn't able to provide any data, any sort of measurement whatsoever to show that, hey, before feminism, this was what happened, and after feminism, this is what we got. We didn't get any of that. What we got was a whole bunch of logical fallacies and a person who doesn't understand what an argument is or how to debate. I'm going to list them off quickly, but join in the comments on the live stream if you caught more of these than I did. These were just some of the fallacies that we witnessed tonight from Brian. Non sequitur, argument from incredulity, straw man, ad hominem, category error, tu quoque fallacy, appeal to authority, argument ad populum, and on top of all that,
she missed a couple. She missed equivocation. He did a lot of equivocating. She missed the attempt at a Mott and Bailey. She also missed the fact that he made multiple genetic fallacies. Remember when he said, I'm going to listen to John Hopkins and not you. That's a genetic fallacy.
We got moral outrage. We got appeals to your virtue and your emotions. And what we got from Brian ultimately was the best argument against feminism, because what feminism produces is emotionally incontinent, weak men who can't control themselves, who have violent outbursts, will insult you, will be angry and combative, and then try at the end of the debate to bring up your child and not even let you get through a debate in a professional manner addressing the topic at hand without crying.
Now, Shapiro says that should be on the table because, after all, I heard it from Andrew talking about it. No, you haven't. Always in response to somebody asking me about it. Always. Never a single time I volunteered to discuss any of that. Not once. It's always, I'm on a show. Somebody wants to know. They're asking me about it. And usually I'm just like, I just don't even want to discuss that. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Now, I told Rachel going into the debate, because Brian has been listening to the League of Evil. I said, be wary. Because when he doesn't get an emotional response out of any of this,
sounds like he'll attack you after.
He's going to try to get an emotional response by using that. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. I made a video on it, clearing it up after, once again, other people were bringing it up who aren't me. So you can't get upset at me for clarifying what happened when people are lying about what happened. That's like, what are you talking about? How's that? What are you talking about? That's not fair to do. Like, oh, you just like, what are you talking about? But anyway, I said, be prepared because they're going to do that. Like, he's going to do that. If he can't get an emotional rise out of you any other way, that's what he'll do. Promise. Rachel was like, why though? That wouldn't make any sense. Because he's not there to debate this issue. He was never there to debate the issue. By his own admission, he doesn't know anything about feminism. He doesn't know anything about the topic. He's there because he's trying to clip hunt for dunks. That's it. So any potential rise he can get out of you, all he's looking for. She was like, okay, well, I'll be, I'll be aware of it, but I doubt, like, that just seems so stupid. Why? It has nothing to do with anything. I'm like, just trust me. Sure enough. And you could hear me in the audience when you bring, I'm like, oh God, Brian, just why? What a dummy. So Rachel was ready. Always ready for these idiots. Like, I can read them like a book. I can read them coming a mile away. I know exactly what they're going to do before they ever do it. That's what makes me so great.
You know what they're going to say before they even say it.
At debating them. Know what they're going to say before they say it. I know what they're going to do before they do it. Right? Just like I know for sure. 100% guarantee it. Take it to the bank. That Brian Shapiro will 100% be joining the League of Evil. Promise. You heard it here first, I assure you.
And bringing up your son, who you probably don't want to be thinking about in the closing of a professional debate that you're trying to get through. So when he says, do what you want, man, follow how you feel. Life's short. Do what you feel like, just follow what you want. Follow your emotions. I would say no, don't do that. Find a strong, virtuous man in your life who knows how to hold boundaries and protect you, who can control his emotions, who can be the force of strength and stability that families need that we don't have anymore. Don't be a male feminist. Don't be this emotionally incontinent, just going all over on a tangent, unable to control your thoughts, unable to control your emotions, just spewing and vomiting emotional appeals to people in the middle of a professional debate, bringing up children, bringing up your ex-husband.
Oh shit, that's what he done, people. Is that what he done?
Be the kind of person who can actually handle getting up here and having an argument, making an argument, sticking to the topic, controlling yourself. And the fact that I, a housewife from the Midwest with no college degrees, no professional training, am better able than him to do that, just shows you this is the kind of men that feminism has produced, and this is why society is all messed up.
And he had nothing. Nothing, even in the Q&A. Just never had anything again. It was over. I mean, this debate was over before it began, but she ended it in the most brutal way possible.
There you go, people. There you go, people. Let me know. Let me know who you think won this debate, people. Let me know if you want me to react to any more people. Let me know who else I should be reacting to as well next.